the Baker Aquaculture Research Facility. This is part of Purdue and it's part of the animal farm. There's a lot of research that goes on here with fish, of course, and also with invertebrates like shrimp.
We're doing molecular genetics to look at really tiny responses to see bigger overall effects in our fish.
So there's all kinds of different contaminants that we humans produce and eliminate it to things like streams and rivers and oceans.
Out in the streams and even ditches that you drive by every day, you don't realize how many different kinds of fish are in there. So it's kind of this fascinating world that I think a lot of people take for granted and don't really realize can be really cool. And they're very good indicators to us as to what's going on in the environment because of exposure to different pollutants.
Animal farms that have very large numbers of domestic animals like beef or swine, what we find is that these farms release hormones to the environment, estrogens and androgens, and these reach streams and fish get exposed to them. What we do are both field and laboratory studies. In the field, we sample streams that we know are impacted or affected by these farms, and we collect fish from there. And then we also have reference sites or control sites that we sample fish from, and then we compare the populations of fish to each other. We hypothesize that when fish get exposed to these hormones, they're going to respond with significant changes. For example, we see that when we exposed a female fish to a male-like hormone, her secondary sex characteristics turn more like a male. So she looks not like a female anymore, she looks more like a male. And vice versa, when we expose males to hormones that are female-like hormones, he then begins to develop secondary sex characteristics that are more like females. We also look at molecular changes at the DNA level, at the protein level. So we collect tissues like liver or brain or gonad, and we look at how certain genes are turned on or turned off in relation to some of these environmental problems. I think the overall goal of our research is to better understand how contaminants affect aquatic organisms. And if we can understand that, then we can hopefully develop chemicals that are less harmful to the environment, and that way decrease the effects that we're seeing now with things like pharmaceuticals. What I love about my job is to be able to work with live animals, like fish, to be able to go to the field and do studies in things like rivers and lakes. And I'm not always on my office necessarily, working in my computer. I have the opportunity to go out and do some field studies. And I like research. For me it's exciting to answer questions that are different and new and to try to help. The first thing I would advise is that they go to college and they choose a career in biology, for example, a general career in biology, and then go to graduate school and get a master's. And when they get to graduate school, they'll be able to do research and they'll be able to investigate things with fish or other animals. And I would encourage them also to volunteer when they get to high school, to seek out universities where they can volunteer and do research projects with scientists as well.
When I was doing my undergraduate degree, my bachelor's degree, I did overall environmental science because I was really interested in environmental issues. And I got looking into research for a paper for a class and came across the topic of pharmaceuticals in the environment and thought that was really interesting, that we didn't know a lot about it, and found that kind of fascinating. And so when I went to go do graduate school, because I was really interested in continuing in research, I got interested in toxicology because of that, and did my master's with a concentration in toxicology and risk assessment, and then got a really good opportunity to work with Marisol at Purdue to do aquatic toxicology and work with fish and look at similar issues that kind of started me in this area in the first place.